All right, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to another one of our Israelite gathering, Shabbat studies. My name is Yadon Yasharah. I'm with my good brother, Kased Yasharah. Shabbat Shalom, Mark. How you doing?
Hey, Shabbat Shalom. Yeah, I'm all right. I'm as always thankful for another Shabbat. It's a lot going on in the world, and I'm thankful that we have the opportunity now to like the book says, to seek him while he may be found.
Amen. Amen. Hallelujah. We had a couple weeks off. Had to go out of town for ministry. Had a funeral, and we took a week off. So a lot has been going on uh, in the world and going on, in our individual lives as these weeks go on. So it's good to be back and to get back into the Word, stay rooted, and to keep our focus. Remember, this Tuesday night is Rosh Hashanah, which means head of the year. That is the Hebrew New Year, which is interesting. It coincides with right around the new moon for those people that observe the moon for new month and new year. So um, a lot is going on in the world. So we want to stay focused on our culture and our instructions for the Most High, and continue playing the part that the Most High has given us. So that is not a day where it's a Sabbathon that you have to take off from work. It's a day to just observe. He said, "For you, Yasharal, you shall observe this as beginning of months to you." So this is our way for us to set ourselves apart from all the pagan festivities and all the pagan ways of doing things to observe Yah's culture, simply because he is our Elohim. And before we get started and get into the class, if you haven't already, download our free mobile app for Android or for your cell phone, Android or Apple. It's also entitled Israelites Gathering. We have a lot of different pieces of information, our holy day calendar, as well as, immunizations and different things, waiver forms, a lot of information, Hebrew, alphabet charts, all type of things to aid you in your study, as well as all the books and documents that we read out of the sources. So definitely check us out there. And just to get into a little bit of foreign affairs, a lot of people are claiming World War III and getting are paying attention at least to the big situation that's going on with the United States, Israel, and Iran, and now Lebanon being involved. So, of course, all the so-called prophets, are jumping out and saying this or saying that. So ultimately, what we want to do is we want to be even killed, because at the end of the day, the Most High gave us the whole script. That's why it's called scripture. He gave us the whole salvation plan so that we wouldn't be fooled, so that we can play our part. Anybody who's done any kind of acting understands that when you're in a production, there's a script and you're supposed to play your part. You can't be playing the loser when you're supposed to be the hero. You can't play the villain when you're supposed to be the hero. You have to play your part. If you don't, you ruin the production. You're going to get fired. So in this life, it's the same way. It's a salvation plan, and there's scripture, and we are the lead characters. Just like we're the lead character in our life, we're the lead character in Yah's biblical prophecy. So we're going to get a little bit into that. So just looking at current affairs, we noticed that the war started in Iran with U.S. and Israel doing a joint strike. So let's just take a look at what's going on with there. We just look on February 28th. This is just to get the facts of the situation. On February 28, 2026, not Yasharal, pardon me. The state of Israel and United States launched surprise airstrikes on multiple sites and cities across Iran, killing the supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, and numerous other Iranian officials. Iran responded with missile and drone strikes against Israel, U.S. bases, and U.S. allied countries in the region. So this war supposedly started February 28th. And you ask yourself, why is the United States involving themselves in this war, right? Well, the involvement obviously did not just start on February 28th. The involvement started with the money. So let's trace the money real quick. I just want to take a look at some facts. So this is the Council on Foreign Relations, and they have an article here on U.S. aid to Israel in 4 charts. All right. So it says Israel has long been the leading recipient of U.S. foreign aid, including military assistance. That aid has come under heightened scrutiny over the course of Israel's conflicts with Hamas and Iran. All right. So let's just look at the history on our support here from the United States to Israel. The United States was the first country to recognize the provisional government of the state of Israel upon its founding in 1948. So that's a big clue right there that America was highly responsible for setting up Israel, right? So U.S. foreign aid in the past, in the post-World War era too, a level of support that reflects many factors, including a U.S. commitment to Israel's security and the country's shared foreign policy interests in a volatile and strategically important part of the world. So we have covenant this country to share in the interest of foreign policy for Israel, which makes no sense because that's not our country. That's a whole another country that was set up in 1948. All right. But the two countries do not have a mutual defense pact as the United States has with allies like Japan and the NATO organization. So in other words, if they go to war, there's no pact saying that Israel got to help United States. But yet we vowed to help this country. All right. So why is that important? All right. How much aid does Israel receive? All right. So from 1946 to 2024, constant dollars, Israel has received 86 billion. Now in 2026 is clearly over 90 billion. So let's just leave it at the 2024 numbers. $86 billion. $86 billion has gone to Israel. And look here, Ukraine, 44 billion. Interesting. We're going to leave that one. All right. So what is this money being spent on? All right. So when you look at the U.S. has provided significant military aid to Israel since the 70s. So how does Israel use the aid? Most of the aid is provided as grants under Foreign Military Financing, FMF program, which funds countries' purchase of U.S. military equipment and services through foreign military sales programs, or in some cases, the direct commercial contract. So the foreign aid, these billions of dollars right here, $86 billion, majority of it is going towards Israel, the state of Israel's military campaigns. So we have long been supporting these wars that are going on between the two countries. So it's no hypocrisy to just say, man, we might as well throw a missile too. All right. So now, because of that, it has drawn other countries into the battle. So why are these countries so upset that are not Iran, right? Well, first of all, what did the United States do that could cause people of like minds to be very upset? Well, first of all, on the 28th, they sent a cruise missile. United States sent a cruise missile, which they kind of quasi acknowledging, end up killing 168 children in the school. And they're trying to act like it was some kind of error. Well, it was definitely an error, but an intentional error, saying, well, it was old information. So you telling me with old information, you attacked a school with 168 girls, really, children. But yet Reuters shows visual investigation published Thursday showing that they had a years-long public online presence. So you telling me you didn't look up online at the address, Google Maps, to see that this was an all-girls school before you sent a cruise missile, which these other countries in the region do not have access to that technology. So, of course, anybody who's sympathetic with them is going to react. So now you also have them killing their Ayatollah, which was their supreme religious leader. Now you creating fanatics. So here go a result of that. Now you have 2026, and the result of that, there's been this ongoing war between Israel and Lebanon, and with an organization they call Hezbollah. And there's supposedly been a ceasefire for several years, but yet continuously it's been confirmed that Israel is sending missiles at Lebanon. So on March 2nd, during the ongoing war with Iran between Israel and United States, Hezbollah and launched in Lebanon, launched strikes on Israel in response to the killing of the Iranian supreme leader. And I guess killing a bunch of children could probably, get some people upset too with the regime that would do that. Because we Americans, and it got us upset, to the point where that even the Pentagon is investigating this, because that's a bad look. I mean, war is war. War is ugly, but bombing and sending missiles at children, that's a whole nother story. So we brought that up just to show and to see that this is the state of what's going on. Now, what does that have to do with us biblically? All right. They're talking about, I seen in the news, they're talking about, California put out a warning that Iran is supposedly got drones that they're going to send and threaten California. But at the same time, four drones were missing out of a facility in Kentucky. So you got stuff like this going on to scare us. And we really don't know what's true and what's not true. So the best basis is to stick to the foundation. The foundation is, hey, what does the script say? And what are we supposed to be doing during this time? And that should alleviate the fear of the unknown, of knowing, hey, are we going to get a nuclear missile thrown at us? Is this the end of the world? Is blah, blah, blah. Stick to the scripts. The Father gave us the scripts for us to play our part, because this is not about us. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into class. Again, this is an open forum. So if anybody has questions or comments, you can by all means chime in. All right, so I want to open up in Isaiah. Yeshaya, Isaiah chapter 34. And Shabbat Shalom, sis Ariel. Good to see you. Actually, it was a post that I saw that you had put out that was talking about those drones. I was some good information. All right, so we're in Yeshaya, chapter 34. And we're going to start this at verse 1. And the title of our Shabbat study today is Watch and Pray. Watch and pray.
All right. Isaiah chapter 34 and verse 1. Come near, you nations, to hear, and hearken, you people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world, and all the things that come forth of it. For the indignation of Yahweh is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He has utterly destroyed them. He has delivered them to the slaughter.
All right.
They're
So
slain.
Yah is upset with all the nations. All right. So there's a time where Yah is going to judge the nations for their part in this salvation plan that Yah has written. Now, the part of our punishment came. We did our 400 years of captivity in a land that our forefathers knew not. We had ours. So after that comes the judgment. So he said, judgment, and let it start at my house first. So it started at our house first, with Mashiach even having to die for us. And then it goes on to the nation. So this is the portion that we're in now. We're in the age of the Gentile rule. So the Gentiles have been ruling. So the judgment is going to come to the rulership. All right, Tamshi.
Verse 3. Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood. And all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down, as the leaf falls off from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven, behold, it shall come down upon Idumea, and upon the people of my curse to judgment.
All right, so this is one of the first nations he's mentioning. Idumea, the Edomites, Edom, Adam, just like Rothschild, right? With Roth meaning red, red being Adam or Adami or Edom in Hebrew, child being shield, the red shield, shield of Edom. This is where it's talking about judgment is coming down. So continue.
Verse 6. The sword of Yahweh is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For Yahweh has a sacrifice in Basra, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea.
Again, if you want more information on that, go to Isaiah 63. It's telling you. And who is going to be doing that judgment? Not us. Verse 7.
And the unicorn shall come down with them, and the bullocks with the bulls, and their land shall be soaked with blood, and their dust made fat with fatness. For it is the day of Yahweh's vengeance, and the year of recompenses for the controversy of Zion.
So it ain't about us, but it's because of us. Again, the recompense in the day of Yahweh's vengeance. Remember, a day with Yahweh is like 1,000 years, right? So in his vengeance, in the year of his recompense, it's for the controversy of Zion. It's for the affliction of Zion. It's for the problem of Zion. So this is all in respect to how Zion was treated. There's going to be judgment for that. That is where Yah has his eyes always. Verse 9.
And the streams thereof shall be turned into pitch, and the dust thereof into brimstone, and the land thereof shall become burning pitch. It shall not be quenched night nor day. The smoke thereof shall go up forever. From generation to generation it shall lie waste. None shall pass through it forever and ever.
All right. So what you have to do when you're reading the Bible is you have to be very careful how you read what you read. And what I mean by that is the way the Bible is written, it's written line for line, precept for precept. Here a little, there a little. So you're not just going to read from top to bottom and get the right understanding. You have to stop. You have to use critical thinking. You have to say, wait a minute. Okay, if we know that the word is true, so it can't contradict. So I got to piece different pieces together that keep the consistent message so that I'm not going off. So when it's talking about here, it shall not be quenched night or day. The smoke thereof shall go up forever, for generation to generation it shall lie waste. That's not talking about Israel. That's talking about a certain place that is going to be judged because of the controversy of Zion. The land is going to be spared to a certain extent because it has to be prepared for us to return. But another land is going to be destroyed beyond repair. And that's why you have to be careful how you read what you read, because, they're talking about Idumea and this, that, and other. Then all of a sudden, we're talking about Zion. So you just got to put things in perspective. All right, Tom Sheep.
Verse 11. But the cormorant and the bittern shall possess it, the owl and also the raven shall dwell in it, and he shall stretch out upon it the line of confusion and the stones of emptiness. They shall call the nobles thereof to the kingdom, but none shall be there, and all her princes shall be nothing. And thorns shall come up in her palaces, nettles and brambles in the fortresses thereof. And it shall be a habitation of dragons and a court for owls. The wild beast of the desert shall also meet with the wild beast of the island, and the satyr shall cry to his fellow. The screech owl shall also rest there and find for herself a place of rest. There shall a great owl make her nest, and lay, and hatch, and gather under her shadow. There shall the vultures also be gathered, also one with her mate.
Right.
Everyone with her mate.
Right. Doesn't it also talk about where you see the eagles gathered, there are the carcasses? So there's a lot of symbolism. The owl, which is one of their symbols for their secret societies. All these places, this place here is going to be destroyed. I'm talking about completely destroyed. And we're going to read in another area, it talks about it's going to come to a time where all the nations return unto their own nations. So if this place is going to be forever destroyed, a people can't return there if that's where they're from. So this has to be a place where we not descended from. We're not apportioned to that land, a land that's going to be destroyed. All right, finish that out.
Verse 16. Seek you out of the book of Yahweh and read. No one of these shall fail, none shall won her mate. For my mouth it is commanded, and his spirit it has gathered them.
Praise Yah. So seek you out the book of Yahweh. Don't fill your head with all the propaganda and all the fear tactics and all the Trump haters and the Democrat lovers or the MAGA people. Don't get confused with all that, because you can't solidify your stance with any human being. You have to look at the actions and the words that are coming out of people's mouths, and you have to align that with what you're supposed to be doing, with the instruction that Yah gave you to do in these days and what he's giving you to do in your life. And the only way you're going to know that is you got to seek the book of Yahweh. You got to see if we're supposed to be rising up to be royal. You can't be, dumbing yourself down to be, running around with sackcloth, acting like a poor person. You got to find out, where are we supposed to be? What are we supposed to be doing? What are we supposed to be remembering? What is going around in the world to position us where Yah has us in the story? All right, finish it up.
Verse 17. And he has cast the lot for them, and his hand has divided it upon them by line. They shall possess it forever. From generation to generation shall they dwell therein.
All right, so obviously you're going to have to read different places to see the difference. One place going to be destroyed. Another place is going to be inhabited forever and ever, and it's divided by lot, like pure, as in Purim, and divided by line. So it's talking about multiple things going. It's talking about one people, Idumea, the judgment that's coming to them out of all the other nations, right? Then it talks about another land that's going to be forever destroyed, which you can read in Jeremiah. You can see that they're talking about Babylon. And then when you put the clues together, somebody will never be inhabited. We know that people live in Iraq, so we know it's not talking about the modern day Babylon. It's a spiritual Babylon, Babylon meaning confusion. So this is just the preface of what we're getting into of the judgment of where we're at now, the judgment against the nation. So let's move on. Let's go to Yeshaya chapter 13, Isaiah chapter 13. You know, when you don't know what's going to happen, you can lose confidence. Just like when you're driving a vehicle and you don't know how it's going to react, you can lose confidence. You can't take that corner the way you want to corner. You can't accelerate. You don't trust the brakes because you just don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how it's going to operate. So you can't move with the type of intensity that you need to move to compete at a higher level. So life is the same way. He said, Israel, the children, the biblical Yasharal, I want you to operate at a high level of confidence. So I'm going to give you the beginning, middle, and end, and I'm going to send you prophets, and I'm going to send you a savior, and I'm going to do miracles. I'm going to do all these different things, and I'm going to send you the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit, so that you could have confidence, so that you can play your lead role. There's nothing worse than a picture with the lead role actor horrible. You'll destroy the whole film. So we are the lead role actors. We have to have confidence. And when you don't know your lines, you don't know how the story goes, and you just wing it, you're going to lose confidence. You could try to overcompensate, but it's going to show on film. All right. So Yeshaya, Isaiah chapter 13. Let's start this at verse 1. And Shabbat Shalom, Brother Dre. Good to see you, family. And as always, big Shabbat Shalom to my big brother Yafi Yehuda.
Isaiah, Yeshaya chapter 13 and verse 1. The burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amoz did see. Lift you up a banner upon the high mountain, exalt the voice unto them, shake the hand, that they may go into the gates of the nobles. I've commanded my sanctified ones, I've also called my mighty ones from my anger, even them that rejoice in my highness.
All right. So lift up the banner on the high mountain. All right. Exalt the voice. I've called my mighty ones for mine anger. So he's stirring up the spirit. Verse 4.
The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together, Yahweh of hosts musters the host of the battle. They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even Yahweh and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. Howl you, for the day of Yahweh is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty.
So again, they're talking about the day of Yahweh. Now saying it's at hand, which means it's near. Destruction from the Almighty. So if this destruction is coming from the Most High Yah, what you think you think you're going to stop that? You think you're going to stand in the way? You think you're going to avoid it? You're going to get some intel and seek to a shelter and avoid the destruction that's coming from the Almighty? See, that's the role that the nations play. That's what it says that they're supposed. It says you are the lead role. You're supposed to walk with faith and confidence like that hero that says, well, we're going to go do it. Just like Neo in the Matrix. I don't know why, but I feel like I can pull it off. I'm going back. No, it's certain death. Well, the prophecy says that the oracle said that I would. Da, da, da. That's the type of confidence we're supposed to move in. We ain't supposed to be back there shaking in our boots with everybody else that don't have the script.
Verse 7. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt.
They're going to melt because they're dependent on their physical ability, their physical knowledge. They're not dependent on the will of Yah. Verse 8.
And they shall be afraid. Pangs and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travails. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames.
The faces shall be as flames. So they're having like birth pains where you bent over like a pregnant woman, right? That's how fearful the men are going to be. Now, men fight, men war, men have been through things. So the situation that's about to come upon these men that are in the judgment, and we talking about the nations, is going to be so terrifying that a grown man who, was in his pride and in his feelings is going to be so terrified. So this has to be on another level, and this has to be a spirit involved, just like the same spirit that had to be involved that allowed, a few ship mates to keep a whole hundreds of Judah's best on a slave ship, and it don't get torn down. There had to be a spirit of fear, just like it talked about in Deuteronomy 28, a fear that would it be Elohim that it's in the daytime? Would it be Elohim that it's in the nighttime? Well, Yah put that on us. That was the judgment. That came to us first. Now that spirit is going to be released to the nations and all those that don't have the faith in Yah.
Verse 9. Behold, the day of Yahweh comes, cruel both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cease her light to shine. Cause her light to shine. And I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible.
All right, so the Most High laid it out. It's not no advanced parable. Who is he punishing? I will punish the world. Are you the world? Or are you the nation? The nation of Yasharal. The called of Yasharal. He said he's going to punish the world. This ain't your punishment. We had our punishment. Now, all we got now is the punishment for our individual deeds. We had the curses that were generational that had nothing to do with us. We had the curses that was put on us by our forefathers when they said, let his blood be upon us and all those things. But ultimately, this judgment that's coming is going to punish the world for their evil and for their iniquity. So our focus needs to be, let me be less iniquitous. Let me move away from my iniquity. Let me not be wicked. First and foremost, to my own home and my own people. And then second, to the rest of the nations. Let me not be wicked. And our law differs from Talmudic law. Talmudic law allows you to be iniquitous to the so-called Gentiles and to kill the so-called Gentiles. Our law says, no, that Gentile or stranger has the same right to righteousness as we do. So the world is going to be punished for their evil. If you jump your behind in there with the world, you're going to catch a piece of that belt too. But if you stand back and hold your post of what you're supposed to do, this ain't about you. Verse 12.
I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir.
What makes gold so precious? For one, it's healthy. It's good for you. It's good to make things out of, right? And for two, it's precious. It's scarce. You can't find it. So he said, I'm going to make a man more precious than fine gold. That lets you know men about to disappear. If you are not operating on the standard that Yah is setting up in this new kingdom that's coming forward, a lot of those men going to disappear. Verse 13.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So as we're reading the verse we just read about the gold,
Mm-hmm.
verse came to my mind. It's Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, which is in the Apocrypha. It's chapter 2 and verse 5. It says, "For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity."
Mm,
So here, could it be meaning also, or am I reading too much into this? But it could it mean also that the men is talking about here that are being more precious are those that are close to Yah, or who are following Yah's ways?
absolutely. And that's why he's making the reference. Remember, our Elohim speaks in parables, so that we get we get the instruction in plain English of what we're supposed to do and not supposed to do. And then we get the lessons in parables so that it's given to those that are supposed to receive and not to those that aren't. So you're right. He's using that analogy. You're going to be refined if you want to be as precious and fine gold, or more precious, which means less contaminated than fine gold. That ain't going to happen because you was just a good guy or you gave a lot of money. That's a process.
Isaiah, Yeshua, chapter 13 and verse 13. "Therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place, in the wrath of Yahweh of hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger. And it shall be as the chased roe, and as a sheep that no man takes up. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee every one into his own land."
All right. So everybody is fleeing into their own land. So if everybody's fleeing into their own land, this land that's supposed to be destroyed and non-inhabited, that has to be a land that is not proportioned to somebody. Land was proportioned in Genesis chapter 10. This person's from here, this person's from there, this person's from there. And even before that, in Yasher and Jubilees, it talks about it's either one or the other. It talks about Shem, Ham, and Japheth splitting up the earth so that they could have peace. So there has to be a piece of land that's going to be destroyed that we can't go back to because that's not our land. That's not where we're indigenous from. So that's a clue to where it's going to be destroyed.
Verse 15. "Every one that is found shall be thrust through, and every one that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword."
So if this place, you refuse to let it go in your heart and your mind, then you will be destroyed with it. Verse 16.
"Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it."
All right. So again, this is why you have to pay attention to biblical prophecy. It's giving you the characters. This place that's going to be destroyed, which was being called Babylon, land of confusion, right? It says the Medes are going to be stirred up against them. So you have to know who the Medes are. And you have to know, who are we fighting with now? We mentioned Idumea. Interesting, right? And we also mentioned Iran. Iran is Persia. That's not the Medes. It's a different people. That's a whole different empire. Now they had the Medo-Persian Empire, which was kind of similar, but this is a different group of people. So when the Medes start to get involved, now you know that you're moving into that phase of prophecy. Until then, there's instructions how to deal with the other phases of prophecy that we're in. Verse 18.
"Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children."
Interesting. That sounds a whole lot like what just happened in Iran with all those children. They eyes weren't sparing the children. So as you do unto, it's going to be done unto you. If it's righteousness, then righteousness is going to be done unto you. If it's wickedness, you best believe what's coming. Verse 19.
And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when Elohim overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah.
So what does Sodom and Gomorrah look like now? Is it a nice bustling city with good trade, catch a good movie, get some good food? What does it look like now? Destroyed, uninhabited, sulfur still burning on the ground. That's what this Babylon is going to look like. Is Iraq, which is the biblical Babylon, does that sound like the glory of kingdoms? Are they the beauty of excellency? I don't think so. War with Iraq is very, very different than war with Iran. Iran is a whole different level than even just geographically, the way they have the mountains and the way their coast is protected from every angle, even with the Strait of Hormuz.
Verse 20, it shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there.
So the Arabian is not going to be there. The shepherds are not going to put their fold there. So this is a place that was just mentioned that's going to be destroyed. And that's why you have to look at different places. It's telling you Babylon. But which Babylon? Verse 21.
But wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there. And the wild beasts of the island shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces. And her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged.
All right, so we have several things that we got. We got who is going to be responsible for sinking this place and delivering the final blow, and what the condition of that place is. And in the same chapter is also talking about everybody going to their own land. So people are fleeing this place at some point when there's a threat from the Medes, and the place that's being referred to as the land of confusion, Babylon, will not be inhabited other than by, wild animals. All right, so now we need to look for the deception that's involved in this. So Luke chapter 21, Luke is chapter 21. We have Mashiach. So that's the difference between us and other people that want to claim that they are us. We got a whole second half of the book. You trying to make all kind of decisions based on the first half of the book and a bunch of writings that man made up versus the real people of the Bible that were given two sides of the story, the beginning, middle, and end, and then a conclusion that encompasses the whole story. So we shouldn't be fooled because we were given the instructions. We should be calm. People should be checking our temperature to see how we're acting, because we believe what's written. And why do we believe what's written? Just because of, our forefathers? No, many of us weren't taught this by our forefathers. We believe this because many of us have been walking in this walk long enough to predict everything that is happening and to watch it, to be sitting in a seat, learning from a teacher, being told these things and watching it unfold. So why would we stop believing now? Luke is chapter 21. Let's go ahead and start that at verse 1.
All right, Luke is chapter 21 and verse 1. And he looked up and saw the rich men casting their gifts into the treasury. And he saw also a certain poor widow casting in there 2 mites. And he said, of a truth, I say unto you, that this poor widow has cast in more than they all. For all these have of their abundance cast into the offerings of Elohim, but she of her penury has cast in all the living that she had.
All right, so we often skip over this and go straight into, the destruction of the temple and the last days. But it's no coincidence that Mashiach is going into a parable about an offering. Is he saying, oh, let's talk about tithes? You should be giving away money. No. He's going into the parabolic understanding is that the Most High owns you. He wants all that you have, the best that you have. He's not going to take your slack offering. So you better worship him wholly. Verse 5.
And as some spake of the temple, how it was adorned with goodly stones and gifts, he said, As for these things which you behold, the days will come, in the which there shall not be left one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. And they asked him, saying, Master, but when shall these things be, and what sign will there be when these things shall come to pass? And he said, Take heed that you be not deceived, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Mashiach, and the time draws near. Go you
All
not
right.
therefore after them.
So the first thing that he's saying, right? So they're asking pertinent questions to the last time, to the last days. You know, when is temple going to be destroyed? What is the sign of your coming in the coming of the age, right? The new age. So they're asking these questions, and he's giving them the first statement that he makes is, be not deceived. Take heed that you be not deceived. So pay attention. You're going to have to watch. You can't just trust and be the hope that everything works out. There's going to be great deception. Keep in mind, we just read about the place that's going to be destroyed. It's called confusion, Babylon. So this deception is going to be coming. And what is this deception going to be? Many saying, I am Mashiach. Many saying, Ahaya, I am him. Now we take it as somebody literally coming in and saying, hey, I'm Christ. I'm literally Yahweh Shai. I'm literally Mashiach, whoever, Yahusha, right? Yes, you're going to have that as well. But what you have a greater instance of somebody else saying, I am the word. I am the way. Listen to me. Don't listen to what Yah say through Mashiach. Don't listen to that. Listen to me because I'm some special person. I'm the anointed. I'm the new prophet. I'm the new reincarnated, whatever, the Dalai Lama, whatever. And they're going to deceive many. The more slick deception is somebody acting like they just somebody that's special, but they're not really coming out and telling you that I'm this great person. That's the deception. So who are you listening to that you are making the word in your life over the word of Yah? That's the great deception. Tom Sheep.
Verse 9. But when you shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by.
All right. So he's telling you, calm down. All right. Calm down. There's going to be wars and rumors of wars, commotions. Be not terrified. So if you know that you haven't even got into the, it's like you get on a roller coaster ride and it starts to go up the hill. You can't be you screaming, you yelling, you just going, you haven't gone down. You haven't gone down the big part. You're going to be all passed out before you get to prepare yourself for the big drop. Now, if you are blindfolded, you don't know all of a sudden it just dropped. You're not prepared. You don't know. You can't see. So he prepared us. He's telling, listen, this is just the beginning. Don't be terrified. This ain't the end of the world. Oh, you ain't going to be all blown up to pieces. This is just the beginning. And what do we have now? We got the Ukraine war, right? You got Pakistan and India war. You got Venezuela war. You got now you got Lebanon war. And before that, the Iran war. So you got all these wars and rumors of wars. But at the end of the day, what we supposed to be looking at? What does Scripture say? Scripture tell us these are the people that's going to be the blow. And these are the things that's going to happen before the big blow. So that's what we're going over in this class. What are these prophetic things that we're supposed to be aware of so we can pick up the intensity when we start to see those things come in effect? And also intensity, pick up increased faith because, oh, it's okay. We were prepared. We knew this was coming. We were here for this time if it happens in our time.
Luke chapter 21 and verse 10. Then said he unto them, Nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And great earthquakes shall be in diverse places, and famines and pestilences, and fearful sights and great signs shall there be from heaven.
All right. So again, remember, line for line, precept for precept. So he said all these things are going to happen before, the change of the age, right? And now verse 12.
But before all these,
All right, pause. All right. So before all those fearful sights and great signs from heaven and nation rising against nation and earthquakes and before all of these, now you have something. So you got to read line for line so that you can keep things in the order that it's supposed to be. Go ahead.
they shall lay their hands on you and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues and into prisons, being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake.
All right. When the last time you been to a synagogue? Last time I checked, they ain't really, dealing with us. But at the end of the day, this was a different time where we were a part of those things. Now they throwing you out. They're not delivering you to the synagogue. They throwing you out. They're not letting you up in there. Verse 13.
And it shall turn to you for a testimony. Settle it therefore in your hearts, not to meditate before what you shall answer. For I will give you a mouth and wisdom, which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist. And you shall be betrayed both by parents and brethren and kinsfolks and friends, and some of you shall they cause to be put to death. And you shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. But there shall not a hair on your head perish. In your patience possess you your souls.
All right. So now we're jumping around again. It just said in one moment that some of you are going to be put to death. All right. Parents betraying you, all that stuff, mouth of wisdom. But before all these, members said that, but before all these, they're going to do all these things. Now it's transitioning, and you shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. But it says, but there shall not be a hair of your head perish. So this is now it's dipping into a different time. Because you say some people are going to have to die. Now it's saying these people, not a hair in your head is going to perish. Now it's coming into our time. In your patience, which is your cheerful continuance, is how you're going to possess your life. That's how you are going to live in these latter days. This is how a hair of your head is not going to perish, is because you're going to have faith in the words that are written and not be shaken and stress and terror when things start to happen exactly the way from exactly who the word says it's going to happen. All right, verse 20, more clues. These are the things we're supposed to be looking out for. This is a big one right here.
And when you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is near.
The desolation what? Could that be the abomination desolation? But it says, when you see Jerusalem compassed with armies, when this was always a fantasy in all my years, compassed, we know America would never allow the jewel of the Middle East to be compassed with armies. We know Britain would never allow, because that's who set up the Rothschilds. We got a video where the brother, the Jacob Rothschild literally said, we created Israel, the state of Israel. Britain in what was it, Balfour Agreement and all that? Britain. The United States set this up. So we're saying we wouldn't see that in our timeline where Jerusalem literally be compassed with armies. What's going on right now? They done bombed Syria, so Syria pissed off. Lebanon pissed off because they keep bombing Lebanon weekly, even though there was supposed to be a ceasefire. And they just blew up a bunch of children, a bunch of Muslim children, Islamic children in Iran. Now you're starting to see, and you have countries like Sudan that say, look, if America invades Iran, we're going to fight with Iran. Where do you think where are they going to fight? So this stuff is starting to become a real reality. So does that mean panic? No, that means watch. Look, these are the things we're supposed to be watching for. He said, watch and pray. These are the things you're supposed to be watching for. So you know where you stand. Jerusalem compassed with armies. Then what when you see Jerusalem compassed with armies? Tom Sheep?
Verse 21. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto.
Well, you don't have to worry about that right now because them Israelis fleeing left and right. They stuck in the airport. They trying to get out. They trying to go back to their countries, back to Ukraine and Poland and Russia and all them countries they come from, Czechoslovakia and all them places. They ready to go back there. But when you see Jerusalem compassed with armies, it's too late. Look at what's happening now. They're not even being compassed now, and they won't let them leave for multiple reasons. One, the airport's blown up, but another reason is because they want them to fight. They need them to fight to establish the Greater Israel Project, where they want to take over the whole region. Verse 22.
Verse 22. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled.
There it again. The days of vengeance. This is Yah's vengeance for the controversy of Zion. So it's no coincidence that we're seeing these things happen over there in Israel right now. Why? So these things which are written may be fulfilled. And that's what we're going to read so that we can be confident in what's going to happen and not be followed by rumors, because I know what it says and I'm watching what's happening. Verse 23.
But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days, for there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and they shall be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
All right, so this is the time that we're in now, the time of the Gentiles, which just means the time of the nations rule. The nations are ruling the earth, not Yasharal. We don't even have a nation. We don't even have a flag. So that's obviously the time of the Gentiles, the time of the nations. So all of these things have to happen, complete the time of the Gentiles. You had some
Salakia, yeah, I wanted to ask because I know there are people that for some reason maybe you have like modern Christians and stuff who actually believe like the people in the land now are the actual Israelites and that this actual is real Israel. What is their explanation for like what do they say to a verse like this? Do they think the time of the Gentiles is already past, or I mean,
right?
that's basically it.
Yeah, it's just somebody that doesn't read the Bible.
Okay.
Because if you read the Bible, then you can see that they don't fit anything. Look at their laws. You know, the
Right.
Talmud and all this oral laws that say, and I'll just read a couple since we're going to copy that, just so you know that these people are not the people of the Bible, because these are the things that's contradicting the Bible that they have in their own Talmud, and I'm going to give you the source and everything. All right. We'll do a one-off real quick and just go through a couple, just so you know. If you read the Bible, you can't say anybody that has these laws is the people of this Bible. So this is the Jewish Talmud. All right. So in the Sanhedrin 57a as an apple, right? It is permissible for a Jew to rob a Gentile. That's what? So you can rob a Gentile because they're not a Jew. That's not in our Torah. It's the same law for the stranger as it is for the homeborn, right? And here's another one. Sanhedrin 58b. If a Gentile hits a Jew, it's permissible to kill him. So our law says the punishment got to fit the crime. It has to be righteous. If a man hits you, you can kill him. So you can murder him. So this is why they're enacting the way they're enacting, why they're killing off these Palestinians and bombing children while they're in school with teachers, and all female school with teachers. It's because this is their law. They believe, and again, this is not anti-Semitism. This is their own. I'm giving you the source, right? Shabbat 32b. Each Jew will have 2,800 slaves. What? Bava Metzia 114b. Jews are human, but Gentiles are not. And if that ain't bad enough for you, I had to go read this all the way down to the exact verse just to make sure that this said this, because I just couldn't believe that they would actually write this. Jerusalem, Talmud, Kedushin, 4 and 11, and you have to read through to the bottom of 11. It says, kill the best of Gentiles. So how can you be a Christian who reads the Bible and says the people with this written in their book are the same people that you read it about in the Bible? Makes no sense. Furthermore, we in 2026, you can Google, you can watch the video of them coming to the place, but you ain't gonna see a video of anybody in the region that look like them. So if you still remaining ignorant at this point, it's because you want to remain ignorant. You hate Black people. That's the only way. Tom Sheep?
Luke chapter 21 and verse 25. And there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations, with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's heart failing them for fear, and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draws near.
All right. So your redemption draws near. That all these things have to happen before Mashiach comes. He ain't just, that's why I said you don't have to tell nobody he's here or he's there. All these events in the order that it says is going to happen from the Old Testament to the New Testament have to take place in that order. And then redemption is near. Redemption ain't even here yet. But if you trust this word and you read it, you can't be shaken, because you know, look, this, you're not going to make something happen that ain't supposed to happen. And you ain't going to make something happen before it's time, because this is all according to a biblical timeline. And Shabbat Shalom, sis Sharita, good to see you. And big Shabbat Shalom, sis Evie.
Verse 29. And he spake to them in a parable. Behold, the fig tree and all the trees. When they now shoot forth, you see and know of your own selves that summer is now near at hand.
See, you smart enough to figure that out when you're hungry and you want to eat the fruit that is ripe, right? Or when you're selling fruit. But you can't think to look at the signs of the times or what's going on so you can see when the harvest of this earth is about to happen.
Verse 31. So likewise you, when you see these things come to pass, know you that the kingdom of Yahweh is near at hand.
When you see these things come to pass, you will witness. He said, Israel, you are my witnesses. You can't stick your head in the sand like an ostrich and hide from this. You are a witness unto your own people and the Goyim. You have to watch and testify and exhibit faith so people can see how to live. So he's telling you all these things. This is Mashiach. He's telling you. Verse 32.
Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass away till all be fulfilled. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away.
Shall not pass away. Hallelujah. So at the end of the day, this generation shall not pass. The age of the Gentiles is not going to pass until all these things be fulfilled.
Verse 34. And take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life, and so that day come upon you unawares.
So let's look at those words. He's telling you, take heed, lest your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting. I don't even know what surfeiting is. Surfeiting is a headache from drunkenness. So that's hangovers. And then it says literally drunkenness, but notice it says right next to it, cares of this life. It says don't be overcharged. It didn't say, hey, don't care about life. Hey, forget about life because Yah's word. No, don't be overcharged. You got to handle your responsibility, but you have a greater responsibility to the salvation plan. And how do you know? Because you did not choose to be born into this. This is bloodline. Tom Sheep?
Verse 35. For as a snare shall it come on all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth.
As a snare is a trap. If you knew the trap was there, would you walk into the trap? No, there's a bear trap right there. Oh, let me walk. My leg. No, you wouldn't do that. So it's a trap that is set for the world so the world can receive judgment. You are sanctified, separated, set apart from the world for the world, to help the world, to convert the world into the kingdom. But you only there to convert those that Yah sent to Mashiach. You don't choose. So we are looking for the snare. We can't be like everybody else, or else we're not doing our job. Verse 36.
Watch you therefore and pray always, that you may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man.
So watch, so you can watch to see, here's my part. Salakia, no, y'all brothers can't do this. Okay, it's my part in the play. Hey, hello, hey, I represent Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh. You got to watch so you know when it's your part. And pray. We are in a ultra level of deception with AI, with the internet, with media being owned by 3 corporations. Look at BlackRock, literally owned the president and CEO. All these people that run that are all from the same nation that we fight in war with. All these things, it's confusion. So you're gonna have to pray so that Yah will always send you that thing to see where you see, oh, I was gonna do that. Just like a discussion my wife and I had the other day. She was going through something personal, and the Most High had her see certain things so that she could receive the message that he had for her. But if she's not watching, the flesh gonna do what it's gonna do. So we have to watch and pray, because sometimes the level of confusion is we don't even know what's right or wrong. We just hoping that this is right or wrong. We don't know what do you want us to do? Pray. He will show you what to do. And if you make a mistake, you will land in grace because your intention was pure. Finish it out.
Salakia.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that point about confusion. I've been seeing a few things on the internet recently about how they kind of had this transition from physical media to streaming, and now how the streaming basically they can edit it live, basically. You know what I'm saying? And so
Absolutely.
apparently they show some examples of like stuff that used to air in the 90s, maybe like the Cosby Show or something.
Mm-hmm.
Or and then they'll show the original, and then they'll show like the an edit on streaming or something.
Right.
And basically the whole idea is that they have complete control over this stuff. And like you said, AI is kind of getting out of control now, and it's like it's really to the point where you really can't trust the things that you see. You can't turn on the news and trust that it's honest. You can't even trust that it's real. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, and so that just adds to this whole level of confusion, and it really speaks to how important it is to really for us all to be continuing to get in our word. You know what I'm saying? And who knows, there might even come a time where this is going to be banned. You know what I'm saying? So we have to
Absolutely.
stay in our word and make sure that we're storing it in our heart, like King David said.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's great deception. Look with the internet, you know, you don't even know who's alive and not who's alive. Look at they say your boy and I'm saying it like this for a reason for you to look it up. Your boy BB Milikowski. They say he dead, but then they do a video of him. Supposedly, it's on Al Jazeera and all of him supposedly being alive, and the man got 6 fingers in the video. I mean, it's the mind, the confusion that they got going on. Is he alive or is he dead? We don't know. Then you think in 2026 you can't put a video out without having a dude with 6 fingers? I got videos of AI that don't have 6 fingers. You telling me they can't do that? So the level of confusion, and that's why you got to be careful with this false information. They're putting out false information so they can line up what side are you on. Because if you siding against the state of Israel, right? America's fighting alongside of them. You have now made yourself a terrorist. You have now made yourself a traitor. So you got to be careful. They setting us up. We get all of our cell phone spying technology from that place that we fighting for. So the deception is on a whole nother level. That's why you just got to stick with the Bible. Listen, I don't care. I don't have opinion either direction. I just know what the Bible says, and I'm on that side. That's it. And it says it ain't about us. It's not for us to go trying to fight nobody or do nothing like that. That ain't for us. That's the safest place to be.
All right, Luke chapter 21 and verse 35. For as a snare shall it come on all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth. Watch you therefore, and pray always, that you may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man.
All right, we can stop there. Let's move on. Let's go to Marcus chapter 13. So this great deception, watch and pray, is the instruction that Mashiach gave us. Watch for what's going on and line it up against to what's supposed to be going on and what's going to happen, and pray for your forgiveness, for your repentance, for instruction and guidance so that you can play your part. And when Jerusalem is compassed with armies, those that be in Judea flee to the mountains. So our brothers, by the way, we checked in with a lot of our brothers that are over there in Israel, in the state of Israel, and they fine, they safe. Gaza, not even, Gaza is always under threat, but from the people that are across from them, not from Iran. Iran ain't attacking them. So we got instructions: when we see Jerusalem compassed with armies, flee to the mountains. All right. And it says, when you see all these things, know the desolation is near. So what desolation are they talking about? Marcus chapter 13, we're going to start this at verse 14. So pull that up real quick. Marcus 13 and 14.
All right, Marcus chapter 13 and verse 14. But when you shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet standing where it ought not, let him that reads understand. Then let them that be in Judea flee to the mountains.
All right. So again, they're talking about when you see these things, just know the desolation is near. So what desolation? He goes right in Marcus 13, which is in the same conversation. when you see the abomination of desolation, which one? Spoken of by Daniel the prophet, standing where it ought not stand, in the most holy, the place where only specific family is supposed to be standing. And then it says, let them that be in Judea flee to the mountains. So there it is, the second thing. So it's giving you two things you got to look at. The first thing is the armies surrounding Jerusalem flee to the mountain. The desolation is near. You can't get out. The desolation comes and he's put up where he's not supposed to be. Those that be in Judea flee to the mountains, run, because it's about to go down. Continue. These are the things you're supposed to be looking for, not what CNN says.
Verse 15. And let him that is on the housetop not go down into the house, neither enter therein to take anything out of his house. And let him that is in the field not turn back again for to take up his garment. But woe to them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. And pray you that your flight be not in the winter. For in those days shall be affliction, such as was not from the beginning of the creation which Elohim created, unto this time, neither shall be.
All right, so the great tribulation, Jacob's trouble, in those days of affliction should be not as the beginning of creation. So it's a bad time to be in the world, and it's a bad time to be an Israelite that's not following Yah's instruction. We all have made mistakes and have slipped and sinned and done things, but we've been in the grace period. So for a lack of a better time, it's a good time to mess up, because at least you're in grace. You can get it together. But in the days of affliction, you slip up, that's it. That may be it for you, because the world is being judged. And if you operating like the world, it ain't good for you. And it's so bad that verse 20.
And except that Yahweh had shortened those days, no flesh should be saved. But for the elect's sake, whom he has chosen, he has shortened the days.
So the days have to be shortened. Either, the 24 hours is going to go by faster, or, the time of judgment is shortened one way or another. But either way, he has to shorten those days, because nobody would survive, because the payment is being dished out for sin, and we sinners, all men are sinners. So no man would survive if he just allowed the judgment to continue on. That's how bad it's going to be. That's not right now. Verse 21.
And then if any man shall say to you, lo, here is Mashiach, or lo, he is there, believe him not.
All right. So one thing you're not going to go, you're going to hear it right here from me, out of my mouth. Yadon Yasharal. You're not finna get a text from me saying, hey, Mashiach is here. You're not going to get a message on Israelite Gathering app telling you that Mashiach over there in Decatur. You're not going to see it on the live stream. I'm here with Mashiach. He just got here. No, we all going to know, because this is not a regular thing. It's a changeover, because once he lands here, game over. It's a changeover.
Verse 22. For false Mashiachs and false prophets shall rise, and shall show signs and wonders, to seduce, if it were possible, even the elect.
So these false leaders, they're going to rise, and they're going to have all kind of signs through the different backings that they have. If it were possible to fool the elect, but the elect can't be fooled, because at the end of the day, if it's not line for line, precept for precept, you're not fooling me. You're not fooling the elect. If you telling me something, but the word is saying something different, I'm believing the word. Now, if you can show me where my understanding is off, or the Hebrew or something, hey, I can consider. But just to trust you because you special, you fit in the description of what the word says is going to happen. So how are you going to fool me? I can only be fooled if I want to be fooled. Why? Verse 23.
But take you heed, Behold, I foretold you all things.
You shouldn't be fooled. He told you all things. That means if he didn't tell us, we don't need to know. He gave you what you need to know to do your job and not be fooled. You don't have to find somebody else, some great person to tell it to you. Now, we have plenty of guides along the way to help show you how to read and get to things quicker. But at the end of the day, the word is showing you these things, not man.
Verse 24. But in those days after that tribulation, the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light.
Okay. In those days after the tribulation. So after you've made it through the tribulation, you'll have a culmination. Go ahead.
Verse 25. And the stars of heaven shall fall, and the powers that are in heaven shall be shaken. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in the clouds with great power and glory. And then shall he send his angels, and shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from the uttermost parts of the earth to the uttermost parts of heaven.
All right. So again, this is part of that shortening of the days. We would not survive if it hadn't been for Mashiach returning with his angels, his 144,000, to gather his elect. The technology too good. They have too much intel on us and everything that will just wipe us out. We have to have divine intervention. You can't prepare for that. You can't purchase something that's going to protect you in that. Either he comes back for you or he comes back to judge you. It's one or the other. So your focus needs to be on that judgment that's going to come. Not these people, or not, your money and your situation. Yes. Do you need to have cares of this world? Absolutely. If you don't prepare to eat, you might starve. It says if a man don't work, you don't eat. But don't be overcharged by that, where you're paralyzed by fear. Drop down to verse 32.
All right. Mark chapter 13 and verse 32. But of that day and that hour knows no man, no, not the angels which are in heaven, neither the Son, but the Father.
All right. So you can't be overcharged with the prophecy either, because you're not going to know the exact day or hour. So you can't hedge and say, I just need a little bit longer. It's about to happen. Or you can't say, oh, that ain't happening for another 400 years, because you don't know the day or the hour. But he gave you all the things to see what are the things that have to happen before the next marker happens. So that's why in verse 33 said, watch and pray, because you don't know what time it is. You don't know when this is going to happen. You have to be watching so you know what time it is. You ain't going to always know what time it is. You got to look at a clock, look at the sky. You don't have an internal clock that just always knows what time it is. Either do we have that spiritually.
Take you heed, watch and pray, for you know not when the time is. For the Son of Man is as a man taking a far journey, who left his house and gave authority to his servants, and to every man his work, and commanded the porter to watch. Watch you therefore, for you know not when the master of the house comes, at even or at midnight, or at the cock crowing, or in the morning, lest coming suddenly he find you sleeping. And what I say unto you, I say unto all, watch.
He's telling you, watch, 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 pay attention. Pay attention. You know not when he's coming. Least when he comes, he finds you asleep. We all got to go to sleep at some point, right? But what he's talking about is being asleep mentally, being caught up in this world where you're not doing what you're supposed to do. And he's showing up to make an account with his servants because I'm about to judge the world. So where are all my servants at? Because I don't want y'all, when America go to war, they call all they contractors and they people home because we about to deal the business. So Mashiach getting ready to do the same, but you ain't on the job. Watch. Let's go to Daniel chapter 12. Daniel chapter 12. And we're going to start that at verse 1. So when you see the abomination, desolation set up in a place where he's not supposed to be, it's time to flee into the mountain. So when it's talking about running and fleeing, it just, there's a time to fight or flight. This time it's time to flight. Until then, it's time to fight. In whatever part of the battle you're in, just because America so-called finally sent a missile at Iran, they've been fighting with Iran and all of Israel's enemies. They arming them. Almost $90 billion for who? For the people in the region. The people that's been there for thousands of years, that's who their military is fighting. They're not fighting Russia and Italy and all that. They fighting the people in the region that's been there for thousands of years because they don't belong there. Daniel chapter 12. Let's start this at verse 1.
And at that time shall Mikael stand up, the great prince which stands for the children of your people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time your people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book.
That's supposed to ease you right there. You're going to have the worst time that we've ever saw, but the people that have their name found in the book of life, they're going to be delivered. You're going to be saved from that. You're not going to save yourself. So only thing that you can control is your behavior and your actions and your faith. That's all you can control. The book is you're not going to stop the tribulation from happening. You're not going to stop the judgment of the nations. Just like you couldn't stop the generational curses. He had to play out until the time that Yah said your punishment is up. Verse 2.
And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt.
All right. We're going to all wake up at some point. Many of us are already woken up, and we are in the dust of this earth. We came from the dust of this earth. We still alive. When you wake up and realize who you are, just like the Matrix, you take that blue pill. Some of us are going to wake up to everlasting life. Well, praise Yah. We the good seed that produced fruit. And some are going to fall by the wayside. Some are going to fall on stony land and are going to end up in everlasting contempt. Because at the same time, we got to remember he gave us a sharp cut in Zechariah. Daniel chapter 12, verse 3.
And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. But you, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased.
So knowledge is increased. We got the internet. So is confusion and lies, but knowledge is there if you can objectively go through it and try to figure things out. The knowledge is there. But he shut up these words and sealed it to the time of the end. So if they could understand it, they would do everything to stop it. But they doing nothing but matching what's written in this book.
Verse 5. Then I, Daniel, looked, and behold, there stood other two, the one on this side of the bank of the river, and the other on that side of the bank of the river. And one said to the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, How long shall it be to the end of these wonders? And I heard the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, when he held up his right hand and his left hand unto heaven, and swear by him that lives forever, that it shall be for a time and times and a half. And when he shall have accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people, all these things shall be finished.
All right. So again, scatter the power where we're fleed, we off in the wilderness, scattered, and it looks like this. We don't have strength. Our strength is not being scattered. Our strength is being together. When it looks like we're gonna die, and understand, he also says, "I'm gonna take two of a family and one of a city." So that means we're not coming all out together like some big group. We're gonna be scattered here a little bit there because they coming for us. It's the worst time ever, remember? Once he had the power to scatter us and we just don't have, and it says how long? A time, times, meaning 2, time, 3.5. So we're looking at another 3.5. Half of that week of prophecy that's missing. Verse 8.
And I heard, but I understood not. Then said I, O my sovereign, what shall be the end of these things?
So don't feel bad. Daniel, the great prophet, didn't even understand this. It's sealed unto the end. So we haven't been teaching this for years. A lot of this understanding that we had that when I was coming in has been debunked clearly, easily. So a lot of these things are just coming out now from our brotherhood. Many of the young brothers and some of our elders that were rejected are coming out with the truth that is just being revealed in these times.
Verse 9. And he said, Go your way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed to the time of the end.
So your job wasn't to understand everything. Your job was to make sure that you recorded what Yah told you. Verse 10.
Many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand.
The wise shall understand. The wise understand that it ain't about understanding all the scripture. It's about understanding where do you play, what you supposed to do. Everybody not a teacher. Everybody not a moray. Everybody not an elder. Everybody's not a priest. But you need everybody. We need blacksmiths. We need doctors. We need people to do different things. We need our women. We need mothers. But at the end of the day, the wicked will not understand what's going on and what they're supposed to be doing and who they're supposed to listen to and where their faith is supposed to be. Why? Because the wicked are going to do wickedly. They're not concerned. If you were concerned and trying to understand, you would be trying to do righteousness, because that is the condition to understanding. Because if you understood righteousness, you wouldn't do wickedness. Because when you do wickedness, you be looking to repent because you will understand that this is the beginning of my death. All right, so here's another marker that we need to look out for. Verse 11.
And from the time that the daily sacrifice shall be taken away, and the abomination that makes desolate set up, there shall be 1,290 days.
So 1,290 days. So that's a little bit less. Let me do the math real quick. 1,290 divided by 360 in prophetic years. That's 3.58. So that's more than 3.5 years. Times and a half. That's 3.5 years, right? So from the time that the daily sacrifice, so they're going to, that's why they keep talking about this red heifer and all that stuff. That's for the little hats, which are building a third temple in Jerusalem so that they can start the sacrifices, which is basically the prophecies of the Messiah returning. So this has to take place. That ain't happened yet. So that's why we ain't in panic mode. That hasn't happened. Once they set that up, the whole world got to celebrate that they're now the so-called holy people in the land are doing the sacrifices for the Messiah to come back, blah, blah, blah. Well, from the time that the sacrifices stopped in Jerusalem from the time that the abomination desolation stands up in a place where he's not supposed to be is 1,290 days. So you know that from the time the sacrifices stopped, you know you got 1,290 days before whoever this person is going to stand up and be where he's not supposed to be, where there ain't no question who he is. So again, these are things you're supposed to watch for. Watch. Not who they tell you, but the people who fit what the scripture says. Verse 12.
Blessed is he that waits and comes to the 1,335 days.
So now you have a difference. You got 1,335. So if you have 1,335 minus 1,290, that's 45 additional days. So he's saying this for a reason. Now, do we have all the answers? This is a mystery. I'm not here to give all the answers. I'm here for us to look at what it says and watch and pray that he give us understanding. So from the time that the sacrifice is taken away in Jerusalem, from that point, let's call that point A, to point B, when the abomination desolation stands up, is 1,290 days. If you survive 45 days after that, you are blessed. So that lets me know that 45 days after the abomination desolation is set up is going to be, whoa, 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 because you blessed if you made it there. And it says, waiteth. That means you're going to have to be patient. You're going to have to wait on Yah. What are we waiting on? We waiting on Mashiach to come shorten them days to save our lives because our power is scattered. Go ahead.
But go you your way to the end, B, for you shall rest and stand in your lot at the end of the days.
All right. At the end of the days, he gonna just like Job said, I know that I'm going to see him in the flesh. All right. So let's move on. Let's go to Habakkuk chapter 2. Habakkuk chapter 2. So how are we supposed to be conducting ourselves? How are we going to survive? You know, what can we do? So if you're looking for some Da Vinci Code type answer, well, here's the spoiler. You're not going to find it here. It's not a spoiler alert. It's the same thing he's been telling us from book to book to book to book. I'm just taking you to another book to say the same thing. Habakkuk chapter 2. Let's start this at verse 1.
I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon the tables, that he may run that reads it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but that at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry.
He hasn't told any other nation this. He told us. These visions that are put in a book is for an appointed time. And we don't know the day or the hour. So all we have is the events that he told us to watch for. And we're not watching the Gentiles to tell us what it is and to tell us the understanding. We watch and we pray that Yah gives us the understanding so we can do his will. Just that simple. It's not just about saving your life. It's about doing the will of the Most High Yah, because we were created to show forth his praise. Verse 4.
Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith.
All right, so let's look at this. What can we do in this time? The soul that is lifted up, you are not humble. You like the tare that stands straight up in the air. That's why they harvest the tare first. The wheat has fruit, so it bends over. It humbles itself. But the tare is lifted up, right? And it says is not upright. So when you think upright, again, like the tare is upright, right? No. Let's see what upright they're talking about. This is again a proverb. All right. It says that is lifted up is not upright. Yashar. Does that sound familiar? Yashar, like Yasharal, upright with the heavenly power, the master. Yashar, to be straight or to be right or pleasant. This is not just standing up straight. That's what it means physically, but this is talking about righteousness. All right. Keeping the law. So behold, his soul, which is lifted up, is not Yashar. They're not Yasharal. All they of Israel are not Israel in him, but the just. What's the just? The nice people? The lawful, the Sadiq or Sadak, the lawful, the righteous man, those that are doing Yah's will shall live by his faith, by his emunah, his firmness, moral fidelity, stability. He's not shaken. She is not shaken because her moral compass says Yah's commandment is do this. Yah says, do righteousness. This is the best that I can do for righteousness. You are going to live by that. That is what's going to save your life. Not your bulletproof vest, not your bunker, not your money, not moving to some land that you're going to have to flee from. Living upright, having faith in the things that you're reading, watching, and praying. Verse 5.
Yea, also, because he transgresses by wine, he is a proud man, neither keeps at home, who enlarges his desire as the grave, and is as death and cannot be satisfied, but gathered unto him all nations, and heaps unto him all people.
Who does
Shall
that
not
sound
all
like?
these
That's not a person they're talking about here. That's a spirit. That's a nation that's doing that. Enlarging his desire as the grave, like death, cannot be satisfied. I want Greenland too. Give me Greenland. Oh, give me Venezuela. Give me this. I just cannot be satisfied. Transgressing by wine, being doctrine, proud, make us great again, right? But Mashiach said, call no man great. There's nobody good but your heaven, which is above, your Father in heaven. Gathering all nations, keeping all people. Verse 6.
shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increases that which is not his? How long? And to him that lays himself with thick clay? Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite you, and awake that vex you? And you shall be for booties unto them, because you have spoiled many nations. All the remnant of the people shall spoil you, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein.
So there's a certain nation that we mentioned it earlier. It mentioned it in the vengeance. That nation has gone, and we're not talking about a modern nation, a modern country, because they have erased, they have hidden themselves, and they have injected themselves into many nations and have spoiled the nations, causing problems everywhere they go, all the way till they've gotten into the Middle East, causing problems. And the nations around them are saying that. They're saying, look, these people are the problem. It's not to be racist. We're talking about the people that run that place. The people that live there are just the people that live there. We're talking about the administration, the people who run it. The people that live there were not the ones that set it up.
Verse 9. Woe to him that covets an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil.
And that what NASA, to be lifted up or deceived. They keep talking about how they in 2028 they sending somebody to the moon and all that. Man, get up out of here, bro. You can't even get to the bottom of the ocean, but you going to the moon? Shut that foolishness up. A covetous people want everything, want your house. You don't even own your house. They own it on paper. Covetousness want everything that don't belong to them. Say manifest destiny. It belongs to them. Verse 10.
You have consulted shame to your house by cutting off many people and have sinned against your soul. For the stone shall cry out of the wall, and the beam out of the timber shall answer it. Woe to him that builds a town with blood and establishes a city by iniquity.
How do you think that place got there? In 1948. You think they went in there with some money and bought the land? At that time, it was called Palestine. They went in there and they fought through the Western powers that allowed this to happen. They built that city by iniquity to the point where that city ain't the biblical city. Verse 13.
Behold, is it not of Yahweh of hosts that the people shall labor in the very fire, and the people shall weary themselves for very vanity? For the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the glory of Yahweh as the waters cover the sea.
It can't be filled with the knowledge of the glory of Yahweh if you not doing what you're supposed to do. He has to show the glory of Yahweh. He's got to back a people. He's got to show you, see what I said is going to happen. How is that going to happen if you don't do what you're supposed to do? If you so worried about what they say that you following what they want you to do. They're not going to tell you how to free yourself. They're going to tell you how to continue being a slave, how to continue being powerless, how to act like a pawn, a pauper, instead of being a prince or a principal or a king. Royalty. King got warriors. He ain't worried about that.
Verse 15. Woe unto him that gives his neighbor drink, that puts your bottle to him and makes him drunken also, that you may look on their nakedness.
Who else do that? What nation spreading this rainbow agenda everywhere they go? So-called demonocracy everywhere they go. In the name of that. These doctrines and pushing drugs. If they would do it to their own people, what you think they doing to the strangers? They come into our neighborhoods. The only people that's keeping this place lifted up, and they drop drugs, guns, making them drunk, also going to our neighborhoods. We just left Chicago last week. Every corner, there's a liquor store in every corner. Giving your neighbor drink, putting a bottle to him. People going through problems, and now you put drugs on every corner. Eventually, the flesh gonna get weak. There's gonna be judgment for that. These people have families. Verse 16.
You are filled with the shame for glory. Drink you also, and let your foreskin be uncovered. The cup of Yahweh's right hand shall be turned unto you, and shameful spewing shall be on your glory. For the violence of Lebanon shall cover you, and the spoil of beasts, which made them afraid, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the city of all that dwell therein.
What? For the violence of where? Lebanon? Wow. Since March 2nd, we had the Lebanon War. And you say, well, who's this against? Who out there fighting? Israel and the United States. These people, when the last time you heard about Lebanon? I mean, yeah, probably 80s or something. Right on cue. These nations are showing up right on cue. When you see the nations surrounding, compassing Jerusalem. He that be in Judea flee unto the mountains. So right now you watching, just like how we used to be on the block out the window watching what's going on. What make you think now that your life on the line, you're gonna stop watching because the TV program on, because the basketball game on? Look at CNN. CNN bought out now. You thought it was a production then? Verse 18.
What profits the graven image that the maker thereof has graven it? The molten image and the teacher of lies that the maker of his work trusts therein to make dumb idols. Woe unto him that says to the wood, awake, to the dumb stone, arise, it shall teach. Behold, it is laid over with gold and silver, and there is no breath at all in the midst of it. But Yahweh is in his holy temple. Let all the earth keep silence before him.
All right. So Yahweh is not in these idols, these dumb idols, these AI and these images that they putting up, this people that are dead that they got us believing still alive, all these different things. Teachers of lies. Yah is in his holy temple. Where is his holy temple? In his people, Israel, those that sanctify him. That is his holy temple. If his word is in you, then Yah is in your holy temple. Praise Yah. So when it talked about worship in Revelation 13, right? I meant to bring this definition of the Hebrew word. The Greek word is proskuneo, which means to kiss like a dog, licking his master's hand. All those that worship the adversary, the devil, that's what the worship is that they doing. All right, so let's move on. Let's go to Revelation 13. We're going to look at that. Revelation 13. Who is your master? Who is your creator? If I'm your creator, I'm your master, where's my fear? Where's my reverence? He says, well, whoever you yield to, his servant you are. So now we get into some of the prophetic parables. We get into the first and second beast, Revelation 13, and then we have one more for the conclusion. We're not going to get super ultra deep into the symbolism, but we just want to understand key markers. Go ahead.
Revelation 13 and verse 1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy.
All right, so the beast, right, is like the 6-day man, right? We're the beast. We're all born beasts, and it's coming out of the sea, and the sea represents nations, right? Waters represent nations, and he has 7 heads and 10 horns. So that means all his heads don't have the same amount of horns, or there'd be 7 horns. So for it to be even, there'd either be 7 horns, so there'd be a horn on each head, or there'd be 14 horns, where there'd be 2 horns on each head. But there's only 10, so that would mean there's 4 missing, or there's 3 too many. All right. And upon his horns, there's 10 crowns. So if there was 14 horns, there should have been 14 crowns. Or if there was 7 heads, there should have been 7 crowns. So there's 3 too many. So these are clues. All right, verse 2.
And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard.
All right, and
his
the
feet,
leopard represents the Greek. Go ahead.
and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his
And that
mouth as
represents like the Russians. You see Putin over there riding a bear, literally. Go ahead.
and his mouth as the mouth of a lion.
All right. Now the lion represent many countries: Assyria, obviously the tribe of Judah, Babylon. All these have been, likened unto a lion. All right. So his mouth is like a lion. Go ahead.
And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority.
All right. So the dragon, the devil, the dragon represents the serpent or the devil. And that's who gave him the power, his seat and great authority. It got to be through wickedness. It can't be through default or righteousness, or it can't be through birthright or anything like that, because Yah gives life, not man, not the devil. So this beast, right, which was like unto a leopard, had feet like a bear. So it's showing you multiple nations working together, and had a mouth of a lion, but all his power came from the devil. Verse 3.
And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast.
All right. So here's one of the heads, one of the nations are going to be wounded to death, where it looks like this nation or this leader of this nation, it's over. It's a wrap. He's dead. They're talking about it. Like for example, the Ayatollah, they said he's dead. Do we really know he's dead? We don't know. That's what the news say, right? But if some kind of way we verify that he dead, we see his body and everybody's like, oh, he dead, then all of a sudden he come back. That's something to watch for. Wait a minute. That's something to watch. So again, I'm not saying this is going to happen or it's this person or that person. We don't know. But watch. Go ahead.
And they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshiped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him?
So this beast is like, wow, we thought that he was dead. This nation, this leader of the nation or whatever, we thought that we finally got him. But at the end of the day, he just came back and everybody wondered, like, wow, he's still alive? They're still here? Who can fight with this guy? We killed him, literally, he's back. And the devil is giving him this power of deception. The devil can't give him life. So this is all deception. That's why you can't believe what you see. They can show you anything with AI. If we can do it on our cell phones, what you think they doing in the Pentagon and CIA and all that? And NSA. The devil giving them the power. And the people are going to worship this power. So if everybody is worshiping this power or this person, and what is worship? I started off with that definition. Proskuneo, G4352. What is worship? To kiss like a dog, licking his master's hand. So you start cooning up. To fawn or crouch to that is literally prostrate, homage. You giving all that respect to somebody speaking like a dragon. That means somebody who's speaking against the word of Yah, and you cool with that? You licking master's hand and chumming up and all that to that? That's what the world is going to do. The world is going to support that. Just like the world is trying to support all these things that are against the Most High.
Verse 5. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months.
All right, so 3.5 years, he's going on with this blasphemy, saying all these wicked things that we wouldn't dare say because it goes against the word of Yah. That's got to be a level of idolatry. Certain things we just won't say because that's like worshiping another God. Well, this has to be the norm for this person or nation or power, and the world got to be licking master's hand like a dog, according to the definition in Greek.
Verse 6. And he opened up his mouth in blasphemy against Yahweh, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven.
All right, so that could be just like this Project Bluebeam, when they come down here trying to tell you that all religions are fake and I'm the alien that created you and all that weird stuff. They got to blaspheme against Yah. He's not real. I'm the creator. I'm the scientist that created this, or I'm the Anunnaki or whatever foolishness they're going to bring you to make you not believe in Yah. The world got to eat it up. Watch. You're supposed to be watching for these things. It's becoming normal now, to the point where we starting to accept these things. We're not supposed to accept. We're supposed to speak against. We're not supposed to be quiet. We're supposed to judge the action. It says if we can't, we about to judge angels. You think we can't judge these small matters? Now, we can't enact judgment because we are not in power. But we can judge the actions of it's of Yah or its wickedness. That's our job now in this day. So we can tell people to move away from death. So we can't take a neutral stance just to make our situation better. That's why we had Esther, the sister Hadassah, to show us that. You in and where you at for a reason. And you think if you don't do what you're supposed to do, that it ain't going to happen? The deliverance is going to come, and don't think you're going to escape the judgment. Verse 8. Excuse me, verse 7.
And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of the life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world.
So all the earth, you got to watch for this. You can't confuse this. If the whole earth, the whole world is worshiping, proskuneo, to kiss like a dog licking his master's hand, to fawn or crouch to, literally prostrate oneself in homage. If the whole world is bowing down to this system, you know you're not supposed to do that. Because only those whose names are written in the book of the life of Lamb are not going to do that. The rest of the world going to go for self, to save self. You're not doing that because it just sounds cool. You're doing that because you want to save your own behind. Verse 9, and when you hear this, this means pay attention.
If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leads into captivity shall go into captivity. He that kills with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
All right. They took this out of the New King James Version. All that leading into captivity shall go into captivity. Because they figure if we erase judgment, it ain't coming. Sorry. It's too late. Just because you edit it in the cloud and edit it in new prints, it's already here. He that kills with a sword is going to be killed with the sword. That's the patience of the faith of the saints. So we know y'all doing all that killing. We not avenging you. We not avenging you. I'm not murdering you with the sword. If I got to defend myself, that's different. That's not murder. But we not going after you. That's not our fight. That's not for us to judge. Y'all got a whole committee for that. And they coming to deal with y'all. Our faith is that exactly this judgment we just read about this entire class is going to happen. And we are waiting for Yah's instruction for what we need to do to represent his nation and his people and to save whatever life we're responsible for. Verse 11.
And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he does great wonders, so that he makes fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceives them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword, and did live.
All right. So once they place this logos or image that we have to have, once they place this, that everybody got to have it, some kind of mark or representative figure that they're going to force us to all have, then these are the clues. You telling me if I don't have this physical image of something, that means you're going to kill me? That's like the real ID, ain't it? Go ahead.
Verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
All right. So now life and death, they going to kill you? Give life unto the image of the beast? The devil can't give life. He can only produce death. So this is digital deception, witchcraft, something of that nature.
And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads.
All right. So we all heard about this and, the mark of the beast. And, there's a lot of speculation on what that is. At the end of the day, you just want to understand when they're forcing everybody to do something, or you will not be able to buy, sell, or trade. That's what you're watching for. Not necessarily for them implanting a medical chip or putting a barcode, whatever it is, whatever means they're going to use. They tried it with those little vaccine cards back in the day, right? They tried it with that. Go ahead.
And that no man might buy or sell save he had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that has understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666.
All right. So the number of the beast is letting you know the beast is going to be a man. Right. And the 666 is what they gave you. So let's go to the conclusion. Let's go to Revelation chapter 22. So the goal at the end of this class is to understand what you can do today and now to comfort your family, to ensure that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing for your nation, or to support the nation of the biblical children of Yasharah. What is the will of Yah? Yah not coming to you and talking to you personally and telling you, hey, Michael, go to 8th Street and make a right. Angel might speak to you, a messenger, but he already talked to us. He's not sending no more prophets right now. He told you. I already said it, the beginning, middle, and the end. So we have to read what it said. We don't need to look for somebody else to tell us something new. We need to read what he said and find the people that are going to help us understand what's here and expose the things that have been hidden. So here we are at the conclusion, Revelation chapter 22, and let's start this at verse 1. Actually, start this at verse 6.
Okay. Revelation chapter 22 and verse 6. And he said unto me, these sayings are faithful and true, and the Elohim of the holy prophets sent his angel to show unto his servants the things which must shortly be done.
So he sent the angels, the messengers, to show his servants. Who is his servants? Israel, you are my witness, my servant. We are shown the things that must shortly be done. They are supposed to be coming to us asking what's about to happen. It's backwards. Verse 7.
Behold, I come quickly. Blessed is he that keeps the sayings of the prophecy of this book.
Blessed is he who keeps this word. You're not just highly favored. You got to keep this word. Keep the prophecies of this book. Verse 8.
And I, Yohanan, saw these things and heard them. When I had heard and seen, I fell down to worship before the feet of the angel which showed me these things. Then said he unto me, See you do it not, for I am your fellow servant, and of your brethren the prophets, and of them which keep the sayings of this book. Worship Elohim.
See, a true servant understands the most dangerous thing. Even my elder Ben Mel, he was very, very careful about taking praise. He gave us a story about a situation where he potentially allowed a little too much praise, and a brother lost his hand, another brother. So you got to be very, very careful. Yah is a jealous Elohim, a very jealous Elohim. And if you allow somebody else to place his glory on you without giving it back to the Father so that everybody know where that glory is supposed to be, you put your life in danger. So even an angel is saying, hey, get up. Yah is who you're supposed to be bowing to. So anybody that comes in any other spirit is coming in the spirit of the adversary, the devil. That's what you're watching for and praying that that don't come on you.
Verse 10, And he said unto me, Seal not the sayings of the prophecy of this book, for the time is at hand.
So the time is at hand. So if it's unsealing, what is it being unsealed for? To read and teach and spread to the whole earth. This is what we're supposed to be talking about. Verse 11.
He that is unjust, let him be unjust still. And he which is filthy, let him be filthy still. And he that is righteous, let him be righteous still. And he that is holy, let him be holy still.
Because you're not in control. You're not going to make a righteous person be unjust. He'll die because he's living for this word. So you best believe he'll die or she'll die for it. And the same thing with the filthy and the unjust. You're not going to make them be righteous. They might be righteous in your sight because they need something from you. But as soon as you turn your back, they're going right back to the world and doing wickedness because they don't fear Yah. So if they don't fear Yah, you think they fear you? They fear losing whatever benefit they get from you. That's the time that we're in now.
Verse 12, And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every man according as his work shall be.
So every man, every person is going to get rewarded according to their work. Everybody don't have the same job. Everybody don't work for the same person. If you work for Yah, then you have a certain job to do, and you're going to be rewarded according to that. And our Father said, you weren't scared to not be profitable. You buried your talent in the sand and came and brought it back. The same thing I gave you. You weren't afraid of that. That's how you're going to be judged. Verse 13.
I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into the city.
It's as plain as it can be. This new city, this new kingdom, that's what's coming next. You're not going to get in there unless you do his commandments. And we're not all commanded to do the same exact things. There's commandments that pertain to men. There's commandments that pertain to women. There's commandments that pertain to Israel, Yasharal, and there's commandments that pertain to the Gentiles. You got to keep those commandments as it pertains to you according to Yah. Verse 15.
For without are the dogs, and sorcerers, and the whoremongers, and murderers, and idolaters, and whosoever loves and makes a lie.
And who are the dogs? So you got the races Israelites want to tell you the dogs are all Gentiles, right? Nah, the dogs were the people that were that we just read, proskuneo, meaning to kiss like a dog licking his master's hand. So all those people bowing down to the beast and the image of the beast, that's the dogs. They are going to be outside. A dog has no law. He'll eat his own feces. That's a dog. If he's hungry enough, right? Sorcerers, whoremongers, murderers, idolaters, and whosoever loves the lie. Just like you said, all the people that love to try to say them people that got there in 1948 are the same people we're reading about in this book. They love that lie. They love it. God loves those who support Israel, right? And those that make the lie. That's who's going to be outside the kingdom. Verse 16.
I, Yahushua, have sent my angel to testify unto you these things in the assemblies. I am the root and the offspring of Dawid, and the bright and morning star. And the Spirit and the bride say, Come, and let him that hears say, Come, and let him that is athirst come. And whosoever will, let him take the water of life freely. For I testify unto every man that hears the words of the prophecy of this book, if any man shall add unto these things, Elohim shall add unto him the plagues that are within this book.
All right. So
And if,
people think, taking away is, you erasing something out the book. Yeah, physically. Well, you shut people down from speaking the truth. You shadow ban them. You shut they platform down. You overtalk them. You delete them. You do all those things, or you attack them, afflict them, so that they're in a position they can't do their job. That's the same thing. You're trying to remove the words of this book because that servant is giving you the words of the book. There's going to be judgment for that, whether you Israel or not.
verse 19, and if any man shall take away the words of the book of this prophecy, Elohim shall take away his part out of the book of life, and out of the holy city, and from the things which are written in this book. He which testifies these things says, Surely I come quickly. Amen. Even so, come, Master Yahushua.
He
The
which
grace,
testifies, the witnesses of these things say, red writing, surely I come quickly. You're not going to, when he shows up, it's too late. It's quick. That's why you ain't going to have time to go, hey, check your email. You didn't see Mashiach, it's on TMZ. You ain't going to have time for that. You don't have time to go back down off of your rooftop. You don't have time to go back to the field to go get your hidden supplies. Now is the time. We don't have all the answers. We don't know exactly how things are going to go. That's why you have to watch for what you read and make the adjustments you have to make in your individual life so that your name could be in that book. Finish it up, Op.
verse 21, the grace of our sovereign Yahushua, Mashiach, be with you all. Amen.
Hallelujah. So again, I know that these are some scary times. We getting hit from every direction. You turn on the news, we seeing some kind of mass murdering, or these are if soldiers who are trained for combat go through PTSD from being exposed to these type of things, what make you think you as a human being is any different just because you don't got a uniform on? These are psyops that they're doing to us, keeping us in a perpetual state of fight or flight. But this could only happen if you're not listening to the Father. You're not listening to the man who died for you, who died so that you could have all this information. Don't be frustrated because you don't understand it all. I've been teaching it for 13, 14. I don't understand it all. My elder been teaching for 30, 40 plus years, he don't understand it all. So you're not going to understand it all. Because 1 Corinthians 13 tell you we know in part, we prophesy in part. But when that which is complete returns, all that which is incomplete will be made complete. So when he returns, we'll get those answers. You need to know enough to survive to that time. Because if you do, hallelujah, ear has not heard, eye has not seen what Yah has for those that what? That wait on him. So watch and pray, brothers and sisters. Don't let the media scare you. This ain't World War III. It may be the beginning, but again, wars and rumors of wars. Do not be shaken. Do not be terrified. It must happen. So that's all we're going to do today, brothers and sisters. If we have any questions or comments, you can always email us at info@israelitegathering.com. You can message us directly on the app with the messaging app. Also, a special announcement. Keep an eye open. We have the Sisterhood app for Roku channel should be being released shortly. As soon as we have that, we'll definitely let you know. But it's going to be an opportunity to watch programming on TV geared towards the sisters and the wives of priests to be able to have their time and have their fellowship. So definitely look out. There's some good biblical classes and materials that are through the sisters and for the sisters. We'll definitely post that once we have all that information. Remember, Rosh Hashanah, head of the year, which is not in the 7th month, it's the beginning of the year. That's why it's called head of the year. New Year will start Tuesday night. So if New Year starts Tuesday night, that means Wednesday time will be the first daytime portion of the year. And you have about 14 daytimes before we got to get all the leaven has to be out of our house for unleavened bread. So now's the time you want to start preparing. Don't be like us and wait and wait the 2 days before and trying to scour the whole house. Take your time, get rid of stuff so you don't got to throw out all your food. And also visit the website. We got the brochure to help you find the hidden leaven that's put in there chemically and different things to help you cleanse your house for Pesach, unleavened bread. So that's all we're going to do today. Yah's will, we will see you for New Year's. We'll try to stream on New Year's. Until then, everybody enjoy your Sabbath. Shabbat Shalom, y'all.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.